Today on Sci Guys, homemade Petri dishes.
Welcome to Sci Guys. I'm Ryan.
And I'm Mark. And on today's episode, we're going to be making homemade Petri dishes.
And we're going to swab my mouth, and I haven't brushed my teeth in a week.
You what? That's disgusting. I thought something died in here.
Something died.
A Petri dish is a container filled with a culture medium, which is something that allows for bacterial growth.
The ingredients you're going to need for this experiment include packages of gelatin,
some low-sodium beef bouillon,
and some sugar.
The equipment we're going to need include measuring cup and measuring spoon,
A mixing bowl,
a shallow dish in which to pour our medium into,
and some Q-tips to take samples.
The safety equipment we're going to need for this episode include a lab coat or apron to protect from spills and splashes. We're also going to need gloves for handling the hot liquids, and please don't eat anything that grows on your Petri dish. For the first step in preparing our medium, we want to measure out all our ingredients. In this case, we have 2 packages of gelatin, 1 teaspoon of sugar, and our package of beef bouillon. We also have 250 mils of boiled water. Now it's really important in this case that you let the water boil for at least 2 minutes afterwards, just to make sure it's sterile. We're going to put all our ingredients in the bowl, like so. Carefully add our water, and mix until everything is dissolved.
The next step is to take your solution and pour it into something that's easier to pour. Like this. And now we're going to transfer our liquids into our 2 shallow containers to create our Petri dishes.
Once you've poured the medium into its container, cover it up with a lid or some saran wrap to keep it from getting contaminated, and set it in the fridge overnight to set. Like so. Now that our medium is finished setting, we're ready to collect our sample. We recommend swabbing your mouth or any high traffic areas such as door handles or money.
The first sample that we're going to swab is the inside of my mouth. The second is my dog's water dish. In a previous episode where we made a laser microscope, we saw tons of microbial life living in the dish. Make sure to use separate cotton swabs for each sample swabbed. Once you're done collecting each sample, gently run the cotton swab back and forth across the surface of our growth medium. Make sure to use separate dishes for each sample and leave them to grow, checking on them daily. After a few days, the first sample, which was from my mouth, started to grow small white colonies. A few weeks later, there was a lot more growth, and this is what the Petri dish looked like. Now let's see how the sample that we took from the dog's water dish grew using time-lapse photography. If we compare the 2 samples side by side, you can see that the bacteria that was grown on each Petri dish was quite different. Let's look at this experiment a little closer. The average bacterium is about 2 micrometers in size, roughly 500 times smaller than a grain of sand. By comparison, the human eye is only able to discern down to about the width of a fine human hair, which is about 0.04 millimeters or 40 micrometers in size. Therefore, the only way we can see bacteria with the naked eye is to gather a large number of them together by allowing them to grow on a suitable surface or medium. When bacteria is allowed to grow in a large group, it's referred to as a colony. Different strains of bacteria form colonies with different morphologies, which is a technical term for physical appearances or characteristics. This allows us to begin to identify the type of bacteria without the use of a microscope. In fact, this technique is often used in laboratories as an inexpensive method of identifying unknown bacterial strains. The conditions under which bacteria are grown are also of particular importance. We want to make sure we don't do anything to inhibit their growth. Think of what you do in the kitchen to keep your food fresh. You keep it cold, dry, and sometimes preserve it with substances like salt. All of these things inhibit bacterial growth, and in this case, they are conditions we want to avoid. So to encourage growth, we use a low-sodium bouillon cube as nutrients for our bacteria and keep it in a warm, humid spot. The closer you can get to these optimal conditions, the faster your bacteria will be able to grow and the happier they will be.
Well, that's it for homemade Petri dishes. Thanks for watching.
And if you enjoyed this episode, remember to subscribe below for future episodes and let us know in the comments.
Also, like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
And if you have any questions related to this episode or about science in general, let us know in the comments below or message us on Facebook and we'll try to help you as best possible. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.
I claim this colony in the name of the Psy Guys. They will worship me as king.
That's not creepy.
Here at Psy Guys, we're always curious how experiments turn out. So if you do these experiments at home, share a video or photo of them with us on our Facebook or Google Plus page. But remember to always ask your parents' permission before you share any photos or videos.